So while I've been talking to Joel and Dina, Jack Lucas has been sitting over in the back chair, just itching to get in here and sit on this couch. So here he is. I don't know if I'm going to be a referee or maybe I'm not even needed for this, but we've got these two fine gentlemen. So we've got Jack Lucas, who we now know was mayor 5 times, and this poor guy, Joel Gambord, Never. You know, he was on the city council for 4 years. You were on for 18 years. So let me do the math here. He should have been it once. Should have been mayor once.
I agree.
And why wasn't he? What's the truth here?
It was a long time ago.
In other words, you plead innocent.
Jack, it's okay. I want to hear why.
Well, Joel, you worked against me in one of my elections.
Did I?
Yes.
Refresh his memory.
And you were vigorously in favor of term limits.
Yes.
I ran 5 terms, and you got that pushed through. But what was strange, the voters, 72% of Monte Serenans voted, it's called Serenans.
Serenans, yes.
Voted for term limits, and then the voters returned me for a 5th term.
How do you figure that?
Clean living, good government. I don't know, Joel.
So Joel was on city council 1996 to 2000, and then you took off. You just disappeared. You went to this place called Pebble Beach.
Yes.
You were on what, from 1988? When did you start?
I'm not sure. 84.
84 till
2002. It was. I was on 5 terms, but the first one was a short term. It was only 2 years, and I said, all right, I'll go down. A friend of mine, Jack Cody, former council member, said, someone dropped off the council, and they said, come on down, Jack, we'll appoint you. But the rest of the council members said, wait a minute, he dropped off during a filing period. Throw that guy into the hopper and see if the people of Monte Sereno want him. So I ran for a 2-year term. I had so much fun, I re-ran, and the rest is history.
Yeah, there you go.
And Joel made it fun for me.
Well, yeah, what is about this friendship? I mean, were you like this with all city council people? It just seems you got this bond going, this brotherhood going. I mean, do you like each other?
You know, you can have disagreements and still love somebody.
So you never lost your temper with Jack?
Well,
No?
It was all behind my back.
What do you think we were pushing term limits? Who's the only guy
So come on, share some stories here. Tell me about some of the backroom stuff that was going on with you two.
What I see your question is, where did we differ in opinions?
Okay.
And I mentioned that Joel didn't work for me when I was running. And help me out on this, Joel, but where I disagreed with you, one was there was a city manager, you wanted to get her out yesterday.
Right.
And I felt it was unfair. I felt she should have been given a chance. And I also list where I agreed with Joel. Let me see, what else? I remember once we had you had a budget plan you wanted to push through, and the staff didn't want it. And I stayed with the staff on that one. What else did we disagree on?
I heard something about a stop sign. I heard a nasty rumor about a fight over a stop sign. Do you remember any of that?
No, I don't.
Well, one of you brought it up, so one of you has to remember.
The violent stop sign.
Yes.
We put a lot of stop signs in during my terms on the council.
Yeah.
Probably too many. There was opposition to it. There was opposition to the one on the corner of Poppy Lane and Dave's Avenue.
Yeah.
I can still remember that gentleman telling the council, hey, right in front of a school, everyone stops, gears up, moves forward. But the one that Joel, I think that you were running, I won't say running, was on...
Does that mean I wanted one or didn't want one?
Somebody got to you and said you didn't want one there.
Oh, okay.
And so you were on the minority vote on that.
He always was.
But you fixed it, you just kept going through that stop sign.
And never got a ticket? Los Gatos police never drove over to see what you were doing?
Well, we didn't have the Los Gatos police then.
Well, who was, so you had the
Oh, it
Santa
was the
Clara County
county.
Sheriff?
The county sheriff.
Okay, okay. Now, and didn't
Took
you,
a half hour to get him there.
when you would do a stop sign, it wasn't, well, he wants one, he doesn't want one. Did you have an engineer determine if a stop sign
Yes.
needed to go there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No council member would go out and say, put a stop sign right here. Yeah, we had traffic studies.
Sure. So tell me some of the funny issues you would have at city council. You'd go home and say to your wives, like, do you believe what we were talking about tonight?
I don't know what I took home.
I didn't take much home. When I slammed the car door, that was it.
That was it, huh? Yeah. Did you get paid for being on the city council?
No.
No, and you still wanted to do it for 18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that? And you didn't care. You were there just to make some things right.
We've had council members come on, not Joel or myself, that have tried to get some sort of stipend for services. But the spirit of the Admiral was, it's a volunteer position, you're volunteering for your city. And I agreed with that, and I'm sure Joel did too.
Yeah, we never expected to get paid for anything.
Now, it's a fairly young city, 1957, compared to some of the other cities in Santa Clara Valley. But the way you still all talk about the Admiral, it's like he's still there. You all still live by some of his wishes and his desires and his dreams. He seems like he really left, he made his mark.
He wrote a book, The Battle of Peaceful Mountain. And that is at the city council in the office. I believe anyone in the city can check that out. It's a great book that he wrote. I probably had some help with it, but just the spirit, you read that book and it really captures the spirit of Monte Sereno, what he had in mind. Some of his blue laws were almost frightening, and they're not on the books today.
What kind of a blue law are you talking about?
Well, I think I'm right because I did study them. For one thing, all your addresses had to be horizontal. You could not have vertical addresses on your in front of your home.
Right.
Because it wasn't aesthetically pleasing.
Really?
If you had help of different ethnicity, they could not spend the night there. Oh, I wish I could get a hold of those blue laws.
Never heard of this.
See? Took this interview to bring this back.
I think the Admiral envisioned nothing but 1 acre homes.
And that hasn't been the case.
Well, we have 3 zoning areas now, and we have former Mayor Burton Craig here who could probably help us on some of these answers. But when I came in, there were three zoning areas: a full acre R144, R residence. One is single family, and then square footage. Mm-hmm. The other one is R120, and then my area, we're down in the poor section of Monte Sereno, R18, 8,000 square feet.
There's a poor section of Monte Sereno. I've never heard it described like that. The La Rinconada area. I've seen your house. I don't know. I think I'll have to disagree with that. Yeah.
When I came into the council, it was I was in the county. We were in the county.
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't annex in until 1972.
Oh.
Led by our neighbors, starting with former Mayor Helen Nesbitt.
And you live over by La Rinconada Country Club, that area of Monte Sereno. And it's, you have Monte Sereno over here, and I was surprised because I thought the area where you live, which is La Rinconada, I thought most of that was Los Gatos, but some of it's Monte Sereno. That's interesting. I mean, because it's a little ways away.
My home, I think, is the northernmost point of Monte Sereno. It's on La Rinconada. And across the street is Los Gatos.
Yes.
It's Los Gatos County. And
does Monte Sereno have any parks?
No, we don't.
Does anybody miss that?
But we do get park funding from the government. And you know what we do with that funding?
No.
We turn it over to Los Gatos. That's that cooperation between 2 cities. And what Monte Sereno gets for that is free admission to Oak Meadow Park. You go in there and you show them your license. I live in Monte Sereno, and
So tell me some more things that most people don't know about Monte Sereno. I did not know that. I live in Los Gatos, but I never heard of that.
I never heard of this either.
Oh, see, okay. Here's an educator. Tell us. Give us a few little things about Monte Sereno that the average person does not know.
Oh.
Maybe not even a Monte Serenan.
I can't think of anything. I know they're out there. Joel, help me out. Or
Do you have any hiking trails?
no, but we do have a beautiful easement named after our former city manager, Don Wimberly.
What's it called? Wimberly?
The Wimberly Walkway.
Well, tell me about it.
Okay, I don't want to take Joel's time on this.
No, this is yours.
We're
You're
together,
on.
brotherhood, sharing.
There is an easement that connects Xena to Eaton Lane in the Rinconada neighborhood. It is 0.07 thousandths of a mile, and it connects the two streets, public easement. And during one of my terms as mayor, and people use it all the time, shortcut to Dave's Avenue School, keep the kids off Winchester.
Smart idea.
Well, so the manager, Mr. Wimberly, came to me and he said, Jack, we got an offer here to give up the easement to give back to the neighbors. We want to do that because there's liability, there is maintenance, upkeep. Let's get rid of it. It's a white elephant.
So, Joel, would you have gone along with that?
I probably would have, yes. Yes.
If only I hadn't proposed it.
Oh, Jack.
This is not supposed to be the comedy hour, but it's getting funnier and funnier. So anyway, we were all set to put it on the agenda. We were going to abandon the easement, give it to the neighbors, not sell it to them, and they could do what they want with their new land.
Nice.
So it came up to the council, and that was one of those meetings you described earlier with Joel, and that is a packed house. That one was packed house. Neighbors came out of their neighborhoods, Los Gatos, Monte Serenans, and they had ropes, tar, feathers, recall papers, and they said, if you give up our pathway, your history. They weren't shaking recall papers at us.
Yeah.
And so we vote, unanimous vote, 5-0, let's keep it. And we have that easement today. So anyway, the next day or so, I was in the manager's office. I told Don Wimberly, I said, Don, I'm sorry we didn't go along with your wishes, but you saw what we were up against. And Mr. Wimberly said, well, sure, I understand, Jack. But I said, Don, I tell you what, we're going to name it after you. And that's how it got its name, the Wimberly Walkway.
Does it have a sign? Because it should have a little sign on it.
It does have one.
Does it?
You're
Did you
gonna
make
see
it?
when you take me home.
I will do that. Did you make that sign?
I didn't make that one. That was a commercial sign. But so anyway, I said, Don, we're going to name it after you. But I never took it back to council. So I pulled a Donald Trump, and I just issued an executive order. I said, that's the Wimberly Walkway.
That's the way to do it.
I know. I learned from you.
Where is Don now? Do you know?
He lives in Los Gatos. He's been on the walkway with me several times. I had to get his permission. I had to get permission from the neighbors to put my art gallery. I've developed an art gallery in Monte Sereno.
Is it a commercial establishment? Because you know you don't have any of those.
I'm not selling them.
Okay. Oh my, that's great.
How
So-
old is Don now? Do you have any idea?
He's younger than we are, but no, I don't. But he's looking good. Yeah, he came by. We met with the manager. He's been part of the planning of the Wimberly Walkway.
So obviously, like Joel, you love Monte Sereno. I can
Right.
see it in your face. 18 years on the city council, 5 times as mayor.
You want the whole? You know who's here.
Yeah, I know. Who is this cartoonist that you keep looking at
His
pictures
name
of?
is DeCenzo.
And who is he?
I don't know. He came to one council meeting, because I can still remember someone said, "Who's that guy back there?" Where he had not a drawing board, but a sketch pad, and he kept sketching, and he was catching us all for caricature cartooning. He worked for the Los Gatos Weekly. This is one of the funnier ones. Is when you left Monte Sereno. There you are, leaving Monte Sereno.
Yeah.
And that's a member of your family, I guess. And it's a quote right out of The Grapes of Wrath. When Tom Joad left his family, he moved out of somewhere, and what you're saying here is, wherever there's a fellow getting beat up by a Historic Preservation Commission, I'll be there. Wherever there's a council picking on a poor millionaire, I'll be there. And down here you're saying, whenever Jack Lucas is getting his ass kicked in an election, I'll be there.
True story, right? True story. So, did you go hang out in the La Hacienda restaurant with Joel ever? Was that kind of your place too?
Yes.
Okay. And are you as upset about it being gone as Joel is?
I love the Hacienda. Yeah. It was kind of our restaurant in our backyard, a lot of class, absolutely. But the owners, and I forget the name, wanted to cut. They were not in the city of Monte Sereno, but
it was
in our
unincorporated.
our sphere of influence. So we had control over any properties within our sphere of influence up to a point. And that was another packed house. Mr. Wimberly thought maybe, we'll let him open a small little commercial shop there, selling coffee cups and postcards. Come visit beautiful Monte Sereno, and that was it. Once again, the neighbors were incensed about that. That's in violation of our general plan, and it went away. And then I thought it was gone, but now this new Hacienda development is really something else.
You want to form a joint venture, and we'll go and see if we can kill it?
Oh, Joel, I don't know how to respond. I'll check with my attorney. And you had a great attorney. When I can still remember when I first met you. Can you remember?
Yeah. Well, you mean when I had my attorney come down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Titian, was that his name?
Yes, Bruce Tishnan.
I know Bruce. I did not realize he was your attorney, but now knowing the both of you, it makes sense.
Well, he wasn't my attorney when I had the problem with the house. I had Andy Faber. Remember Andy?
Oh, very well.
Andy,
his daughter was one of my students, yeah.
Andy lived on Ridgecrest. Oh, you remember when the council?
antenna?
Yeah, the antenna deal.
That was another hot issue.
Yeah, and you put that on me.
What, I missed the antenna deal. What was this?
Well, Andy is a ham radio guy.
Yeah.
And I'm a ham radio guy.
What aren't you? But okay, go on.
Anyway, he's got this big antenna in his backyard.
Sure.
And the neighbors came to the city. They didn't like it, and so the city says, "Joel, you're a ham. Go talk to Andy and see if you can get him to take this thing down or do something with it." And I went to see Andy. I said, "Andy, the city sent me here." He says, "That's nice." He told me to go pound sand.
Yeah, he was issued that permit. There was no forewarning to the neighbors. The neighbors on Mr. Faber's home, one day they woke up and their view of the mountains, by the way, that mountain is El Sereno.
Thank you. Say it again.
El Sereno.
Okay, that's right. And do you know that mountain I'm talking about?
know.
He did. He never looked at it.
He developed it.
Maybe, yes.
I'm kidding.
No, we know. We're just having fun. I mean, I can't believe I'm sitting here on a couch with two men who are 90. I mean, you are amazing. I should be so blessed. I mean, you two are just amazing, and your stories. Tell me some more. Tell me some more.
Well, what can I say?
Well, Jack, you know, we could make history.
In what
We're
way?
doing it. Right.
Let's you and I go down to the city and say, you got to kill this hacienda thing. Put it in a restaurant. We'll come and cook, and we'll make the thing happen again.
I think you may be too late on that
Yeah.
one. I think you
got
may
an
be too
excellent
late.
chef working right here.
Yeah, well, he'd be great.
Yeah.
What meal? What would be the meal you'd have him make? What would be the
Cannelloni.
premier? He loves
I
the
heard you say
cannelloni.
that. I do
he
too.
loves the I did too.
Any pasta.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness.
Years ago, you could go out there with a can, and they would fill your can with raviolis, and we take them home for dinner.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. So now, do you think residents in Monte Sereno are much more vocal than in many other cities? It sounds like it. I mean, if something's wrong in the neighborhood, they're down at city council. And
Depends upon the issue.
So what would the issue have to be most likely? I mean, what
Giving
doesn't
up
matter?
the easement.
Yeah.
Allowing the hacienda to put in a souvenir store in the front. We would have to annex it, annexation of the hacienda. I know they're out there.
Yeah, term limits.
Yeah, we heard about that.
Term limits. I often said, you know, Mr. Gambord, if the voters want me out, let my term limits come out of the ballot box, and not by a policy.
What piece of history are you most proud of? What do you look back over the years? And we're going back to the Admiral's days, but what is it about Monte Sereno that you say, wow, that was something else? You know, maybe the dairy farm. I mean, there were fireworks way back when. The Steinbeck house. I mean, Billy Jones and the railroad. You know, Walt Disney coming to town. Here, I'm answering my own question.
You know what I think about Monte Sereno? I think most Monte Serenans don't want things to change. They want things to stay the way they are. There's so much change in the world. So we're bombarded with change. It's nice to have a home.
Serenity.
Yes, exactly.
Go back to Serenity. That's why they moved there.
Don't change anything. Leave it alone already.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly their neighborhood. You don't have stores, you don't have retail or anything like that. So they go there to be at their home,
Jack?
right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, when you go home, and it's your home, and it's your palace.
You don't want people rattling your cage all the time to change this and do that.
I like that. And you agree. You two agreed on
We
something.
agreed. On this remodeling of the Steinbeck home, I agreed with Joel as much as I disagreed with him on some of those things. I remember one time you came before the council, and part of your remodel of the Steinbeck's home were the bookshelves.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And that broke my heart. The little teeny, because books during the Steinbeck era were very small books. I've got the Mice and Men book, and it's a little book.
Yeah, that was an issue. You can't change the bookcase.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I think we need to end this interview with a big hug between the two of you. You haven't seen it, and how many years had you not seen each other?
Oh, God.
Since maybe you moved here 20?
Oh, 20
plus?
years at least.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm 21.
And I wish you could have seen when we arrived, our caravan arrived for today. And when these two men saw each other, the smiles, the joy on their face. That's friendship. That's friendship, no matter what. I want that hug. I'm not leaving till I get that hug.
You know,
Only if you get a picture of it.
We will do that.
I think as you mature, you realize that differences can exist, but you still can be friends. And it doesn't have to be visceral, you know.
You're going to make me cry again.
And if I may, I never finished the story about when the first time I ever saw you, Joel. You came down there with Mr. Titian, and it was your neighbor that wanted to. You weren't on the council then. Wanted to expand the variance to go beyond the setback line, which was moving him close to your home. Boy, I remember that like it was yesterday. And both you and Mr. Titian put up a very, very
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
agreement.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want anything changed. That
See, we-
falls in this line with I don't want anything to change.
Yeah. And
Don't
you didn't
change.
want
If
the
I
guy
want,
moving into, yeah, I think, and we voted it down.
yes, that's right. Thank you.
Oh, now that is the way we're going to end this interview. Thank you. Thank you. You two are terrific and such historians and such lovers of Monte Sereno. It's been a pleasure.
Well, let's have a hug, Jack.
Here it comes.
There you go.
There we are, pals forever, the old Indian guides.